Welcome to KXAN News Today. Austin Travis County Emergency Operations, the center, is now activating. They're starting at 7 a.m. today in anticipation of that cold front that's coming in. Kristen's going to talk about that. They will be having another update for us when it comes to this morning on details of how the city is preparing to operate around the storms.
And on this Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the legacy of the civil rights leader will be honored in Georgetown. Community leaders will have a prayer breakfast at 8 o'clock this morning at the Public Safety Operations and Training Center. The Georgetown Project will host a youth service day from 9 a.m. until noon at the Georgetown Community Center.
And today, around the Texas Capitol, any American flag that you pass in Texas will be raised at half staff. This comes at full staff, rather. This comes on Governor Greg Abbott's orders to honor Inauguration Day. Since Jimmy Carter's passing, flags have been at half staff. The half staff is going to honor his passing for the next 30 days. Okay, it's here. We're going to get you ready for this Monday and this cold start that's about to hit you in the face. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Erica Brennis. Kristen Curry is keeping an eye on the sky. I've got your eye on the roads. I don't know if y'all also saw the streaks.
Yes.
Because of the de-icing that got laid down.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, is it cold?
Yes, absolutely. So two different things. The cold is here.
Okay.
That moved in yesterday. The storm system moves in tonight. Let's get to it with the live look outside. Dry conditions for most of today. Today is not going to be the big day for the snow and the sleet. That starts late this evening and then continues overnight into tomorrow. So there's no concerns out on the roads this morning. Ewell Kubota weather camera there in Georgetown is dry. The temperature is the big deal because that cold settled in yesterday, and man, we never recover. Teens and 20s out there right now. These are your actual air temperatures. You factor in the wind, it feels even colder, but right now our temperatures are running about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than where we were yesterday. From those teens and 20s this morning, we go to the lower to mid 30s. By lunch, your forecast high only 39 degrees, well below normal. And we'll start to add in a low 10% chance of a few stray showers heading into the late afternoon, but things really get going late tonight into the overnight hours. Still on track to see some accumulating snow and sleet. We've got a whole slew of alerts out there when it comes to watches and warnings. More on that coming up in your first warning forecast.
Yeah, then, Kristen, thank you. Ahead of that cold weather, the more districts around Central Texas are now deciding that they don't want to have school because it could be dangerous. Austin ISD, Bastrop, Pflugerville, Leander ISD all saying no school tomorrow. They're going to close, as well as Round Rock and Georgetown ISD. Those are not the only school closings that we have in our area. A number of schools sending us closures. Texas State University also announcing there will not be classes on Tuesday for both the San Marcos and the Round Rock campus, as did Austin Community College. If you're curious about your school, we have all the closures on our website, KXAN.com. Also, it's scrolling right at the bottom of your screen right now.
All right, as far as air travel, Austin's airport warned that the winter weather may impact your flight schedule, so you should absolutely check with your airline for the very latest. And get this, in Houston, they're expecting several inches of snow. George Bush Intercontinental and Hobby airports, they're going to be shutting down at midnight tonight. And the city of Houston says it would reopen the airports on Wednesday morning. It's all going to depend on the storm's intensity.
All right, Houstonians are preparing for that storm as well, lining up outside of the grocery store. Footage from Friday showing you how long that line was that wrapped around the Joe V Smart Shop grocery store ahead of the cold blast. People getting ready, of course, making sure that they have all that they need.
Yeah.
It's also, let's see, Inauguration Day. We are just 3 hours away from the nation's 60th presidential inauguration. Donald Trump taking office for the second time just before noon today in a historic ceremony.
But instead of hundreds of thousands of people gathering on the National Mall to watch outside, 20,000 will be packed into a sports arena instead. NBC's Alice Barr has more.
Today, the nation's 45th president becomes the 47th in an inauguration day as unusual as President-elect Trump's path back to the White House.
My administration will take immediate and decisive action to confront every single problem America faces.
Only the second American president to win non-consecutive terms, he'll be sworn in inside the U.S. Capitol over concerns frigid cold temperatures would be dangerous for the hundreds of thousands of people who were expected on the National Mall. 20,000 will now watch on big screens in downtown D.C.'s Capital One Arena.
We won!
Where the president-elect rallied supporters on Sunday and plans to rejoin them after he's sworn in.
The curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. And we are going to make America great again.
He also made a solemn visit to Arlington National Cemetery after a phone interview with NBC News outlining his day one plans on everything from saving TikTok to mass deportations of migrants, saying, quote, "We're going to start with the criminal element," and planning pardons for January 6 defendants, a stark reminder of how his last term in office ended, a second impeachment, 4 criminal cases with 1 trial ending in conviction, 2 attempted assassinations, and a resounding election victory later. President-elect Trump and the nation now preparing for his historic return to power. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Thank you. Overnight, the ceasefire in Gaza held as Israel freed 90 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. Israel had detained them for what it said were offenses related to Israel's security, from throwing stones to more serious accusations like attempted murder. You could hear the crowd cheering as those prisoners were released. According to the Israeli Prison Service, the 90 prisoners and detainees, all women and children, were released after Hamas freed 3 Israeli women and returned them to Israel on Sunday. Under the terms of the ceasefire, Hamas is expected to release 4 additional living hostages in 7 days. Welcome back, everyone. Austin police have opened up an investigation after Austin fire crews found a body yesterday. AFD says crews had just put out a fire along Ben White Boulevard.
According to the Austin Fire Department, they got the call about 12:30 in the afternoon about a tent fire. Our crews saw a wheelchair and food at the scene, as well as another tent nearby. AFD could not confirm any information about the person who died, and AFD's shift commander said that the department's investigators are looking into the cause of the fire.
Welcome back, everyone. A live look outside to start off your Monday. It is MLK Day, January the 20th. Kristen is here, going to give you an update on your 7-day forecast, what to expect with that wintry mix coming up. Well, there is a celebration coming up this week in honor of the artist behind the iconic Hi, How Are You mural.
Yeah, the 2025 Hi, How Are You Day. It's set for Friday. There's going to be concerts, all honoring the late Daniel Johnston. He was a musician and the artist behind the Hi, How Are You mural. The Hi, How Are You project is putting on the event, and local group that we're talking about, they actually educate people on mental health.
Hi, How Are You couldn't happen in any place other than Austin, Texas. It's such a open and friendly town, and we're so proud that it started there.
The concert's planned for Friday the 24th at 7 p.m. It's going to happen at the Paramount Theater.
And then at 11 o'clock this morning, Donald Trump taking office, the oath of office as the 47th president. And today's show is going to broadcast live from D.C. right after KXAN News Today. Then following the Today Show, stay for live coverage of the presidential inauguration right here on KXAN.
And can you imagine this? There's not only one Donald Trump in the United States, nor is there only one Bill Clinton. Plenty of people share names with famous presidents, even Abraham Lincoln. Donald Trump is a veteran and resident of Alabama, saying that because of his name, he's actually been gifted things for free. And then you have William J. Clinton, who goes by Billy. He used to live in the D.C. area and would actually get interesting mail from inmates.
There's been a lot of times where I got upgraded, like first class. There has been times where I did make reservations for a hotel and they gave me the penthouse free. Well, thank you very much. I've had some free meals at restaurants.
Some of the craziest things that have happened because of my name, and especially because I had an address for, basically my whole life that was like in and around the DC area, was receiving letters from federal inmates asking for presidential pardons addressed to me, like by accident.
Uh-oh, what happens when you make those reservations and you book that hotel and then you show up and they say,
You're not the guy.
no, that's not, you're not him. I don't know.
I have a feeling that probably comes with a whole lot of headaches. Probably more headaches than freebies.
Right.
Can you
Good and
imagine
bad.
being like in middle school and being like, Lincoln Abraham present? Like, yeah, my name's Abraham Lincoln.
Why would your mom and dad
Why
do
would
that
you do
to
that?
you? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's got a name. Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here, because we've got a lot to talk about, friends. Winter radar right now not showing anything. In fact, we look to stay dry for most of the day. The showers in the form of wintry mix don't look to arrive until late afternoon at the earliest. So most of your day is dry, meaning the morning commute just fine, just very cold. Teens and 20s out there, and you factor in that light wind, it brings our temperatures down a few degrees to where it feels like 8 in Burnett right now, 10 in San Saba, 13 Georgetown, feels like temperature of 16 in Bastrop. Temperatures are going to struggle today, especially because we've got a good amount of clear sky now, but those clouds are going to come in quick by lunchtime, and that pretty much puts our warm up on pods here, with highs only in the upper 30s, and then we start with a low chance of some snow and wintry mix about 4 or 5 o'clock, but we know that snow chance will grow heading into the later part of tonight. Your winter weather alerts for the most part kick in at 6 p.m. tonight. That's a winter storm warning for bigger impacts in the Austin metro and eastern counties and lesser impacts out towards the west. Got a couple of questions on that on my Facebook page yesterday, saying what's the difference in the colors? Well, just think pink, bigger impacts, purple, lesser impacts. Let's talk about the timing here, because as mentioned, we're going to see some sunshine this morning, but here come the clouds by noon. Once we get into about the 5-6 p.m. hour, high resolution models starting to pick up on some of those light snow showers creeping up from the south. We'll continue to watch those showers fill in as we get into the overnight hours and tomorrow morning, but early tomorrow morning, we're looking at 2-3 a.m. the best coverage of these wintry mix and snow showers, and then we're going to see most of this clear out by the time we hit 8-9 o'clock tomorrow. But the problem is temperatures are certainly cold enough to allow anything and everything that falls to freeze overnight. So there is a big concern on those elevated roadways, those bridges, those overpasses and flyovers tomorrow morning for the morning drive. As far as what type of wintry mix we'll see, I liked that first computer and the timing. The only thing I'm hesitant on is there is another high resolution model that I like to look at when we're this close to the event that's showing mostly sleet before it converts to snow by the overnight hours. And that certainly is possible. Obviously, we run the risk of icing up to about 1/10 of an inch possible, but that would cut down on our snow totals. So I'm still going with about 1 inch in the Austin metro, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, maybe we only see 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. That would mean we saw more sleet kind of cut into some of those snow totals and we've got a little bit of dry air to fight as well. We do know that there is going to be a higher probability of seeing a little bit more accumulate east of I-35 and lesser amounts as you get into the hill country here. But something to note, although the precipitation largely falls 6 p.m. tonight through early tomorrow morning, the cold lingers. In fact, we get colder tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. A cold weather advisory is in place all the way through Wednesday morning. So please make sure you're checking in on some of those vulnerable populations, the elderly neighbor next door, making sure the kids are bundled up if they're going to be outside playing in the little bitty snow that we might get. 39 to 38 today into tomorrow, so high temperatures won't move much. Overnight lows down to the teens and 20s. Those are actual air temperatures tomorrow night into Wednesday. We do see a nice recovery after this, though. Mostly sunny skies late week with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. We continue to warm up with another low chance of this time rain heading into the later part of the weekend. Sally?
Thank you. Pastor Jim Howard of Westside Baptist Church in Atlanta has been coming to the South Texas border for 35 years and crossing into Mexico to help migrants in border towns. This latest trip, he brought 3 parishioners to give out canned food, clothes, toiletries, blankets, as well as hope. He says migrants who want to claim asylum in the U.S. are scared that they will not be able to after President-elect Trump takes office later on today. Howard says there is a pervasive fear along the border right now.
Donald Trump is guaranteed that some of them are going back across the border. So they're very concerned. They don't know what's going to happen.
Church van is full of chairs for a children's ministry and for the migrant shelters. They make multiple trips from across the McAllen-Hidalgo International Bridge, visiting migrant shelters that are looking for food and looking to help those in need.
Even though the sleet and snow will make it dangerous to be on the roads, there are still some ways to prepare your vehicle for the wintry roads, should you need it. Meteorologist Rich Siegel has more.
With some cold temperatures having already hit the area and about to hit the area again, we thought it would be a good time to talk about winterizing your vehicle. Pleased to be joined today by Stephanie Dempsey, Education and Outreach Coordinator with Take Care of Texas. Stephanie, the first question is, what should people do? What is a green way for someone to winterize their vehicle?
Well, one thing they can do right now to winterize their vehicle is to wash and wax their vehicle. Waxing their vehicle after washing it provides a protective barrier around it that prevents snow and ice from accumulating.
You suggest, or the Take Care of Texas article suggests, an alternative to de-icers. What is it and what's the advantage?
One great alternative to chemical de-icers is something that's found in every home: blankets. Blankets are a great alternative because they're easy to use, easy to find, and don't have an outside cost to it. Before any storm, simply grab up any blanket, put it over your hood or roof of your vehicle, and then after the storm, simply slide it off.
And then I saw a tip to protect your windshield wipers I found very interesting.
Wool socks. So just like blankets, wool socks provide that protective layer for the wipers. So slip them on before a storm, slip them off afterwards. Do make sure to wash your wool socks and blankets after using them to ensure they stay clean and can be reused.
Now, do we need to be more fuel efficient in the winter versus any other time of the year?
Being fuel efficient anytime is always helpful, but some ways you can be fuel efficient during the winter time is removing any snow and ice from your roof rack and also maintaining a proper tire pressure. Maintaining a proper tire pressure will increase your traction and also provide better handling for slick roads.
Stephanie Dempsey, thank you very much for your time today. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all. Texas women's basketball in the thick of conference play right now, but they get a break from the tough SEC slate for, just the ho-hum number 8 team in the entire country from the Big Ten and the Maryland Terrapins. Before that, Texas coming off a win on the road against Auburn. Longhorns love how they played in the first half, kind of pulling away from the Tigers, but didn't love everything in the second half of that one. Texas now heads into this matchup against Maryland, 4-1 in conference play. Now comes the Coretta Scott King Classic up in the Northeast, where Texas is set to face Maryland later today at 4:30. And Vic Schaefer knows this is quite the test.
I knew it was going to be a top 10 team in Maryland. Again, Coach Freeze does a great job. She's probably, if she's not one of the most consistent coaches in the country, then I don't know what consistent is. I think it's a great opportunity, again, to be a part of such a game with the King name on Martin Luther King Day. It's just an opportunity that I just didn't feel like we could turn down.
Yeah, Vic Schaefer honored to play in this game, as his team up in Newark, New Jersey. And doubleheader, first game there is Baylor against number 1 UCLA. So a big day of women's hoops on the docket later today. Texas looking for a marquee non-conference win. That's it for us. We'll send it back over to you.
Thanks, Noah. Coming up, helping businesses survive and thrive when it comes to this winter weather. And if you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thank you so much for joining us. Join us for that story and more on air. And you can always find more stories on our website, KXAN.com.